Blessing after the suffering. Genesis chapter 41 verses 38 to chapter 42 verse 17, Isaiah chapter 11 verses 2 to 9, and Luke chapter 9 verses 46 to 48. Introduction. Have you experienced suffering first before you receive blessing? What is your response to suffering? Last week, Pharaoh had two dreams, but there was no one who could interpret them for him. Finally, the cupbearer remembered Joseph, and he told Pharaoh how Joseph interpreted his dream, and it came to pass just as he interpreted, and it happened. So Pharaoh called Joseph from the dungeon, he shaved and changed his clothes and met Pharaoh. Pharaoh began to share his dreams, and Joseph immediately told Pharaoh that his two dreams are one. There will be 7 years of great plenty, but after that, 7 years of famine will follow. Joseph gave Pharaoh instructions on how to deal with the famine, and he listened. Our Torah portion deals with how Joseph experienced the blessings after his sufferings. 1. Pharaoh appointed Joseph to rule over all the land of Egypt, verses 39 to 41. When Joseph suggested to Pharaoh to select a discerning and wise man to rule over the land, Pharaoh did not think twice. To him, only Joseph was qualified for the mission of working out the good plan. We can see here that from the dungeon, Joseph was now in the throne. 2. Joseph had a family, verses 50 to 52. Since Joseph had been away from his immediate family, this time Pharaoh gave him Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, to be his wife, and they had 2 sons. Joseph called the firstborn Manasseh, meaning, forget, and the second he called Ephraim, which means, fruitful. This family of Joseph was very controversial because of the origin of Asenath. Some says that she was an ethnic Egyptian but must be converted to marry Joseph. Others says that she was the daughter of Dinah and was left outside of Egypt's wall and being found and raised by Potiphar. But I believe the reason why Adonai Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh allows Joseph to have a family inside Egypt, it's because he had a wonderful plan for the Gentiles. We have to remember that even Boaz marries Ruth the Moabite, and Ruth was mentioned in the genealogy of Yeshua, Matthew chapter 1 verses 1 to 17, 3. Joseph became an instrument for his family to survive the famine, chapter 42 verses 1 to 17. The famine reached Canaan, and Jacob as a father heard that there was grain in Egypt. He told his sons to go there and buy food so they may live and not die. The good thing is Joseph was in Egypt, and he was the second to the highest in position. He was governor over the land, verse 6, and part of this blessing to Joseph was his dream about the stars and moon bowing down to him came true when his brothers came. We can learn 2 things from our Torah portion. 1. Our trials are Adonai's tool to mold us. For a while we face many trials, but these trials will mold us so we could see that our faith is genuine. The grapefruit needs to be crushed in order to get the best juice. And so are we. Trials will squeeze us so the best of us would come out. Isaiah chapter 48 verse 10 says, Behold, I have refined you, but not as silver, I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. 2. Truly there is a blessing after the suffering. Sufferings are temporary. It's just like that we sleep tonight and tomorrow will be a new day. Our God Adonai Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh is powerful and bigger than our sufferings. In His perfect time, our sufferings will turn into blessings. Psalm chapter 30 verse 6b says, Sorrow may last for the night, but a shout of joy comes in the morning. Our Haftarah is about the reign of Jesse's offspring. In verse 1, prophet Isaiah used the word rod from Jesse the father of David, and this rod is Messiah Yeshua. In verse 2, it says that the spirit of Adonai Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh shall rest upon him, even wisdom, understanding, counsel, might, knowledge and fear. That's why in Luke chapter 2 verse 52, Yeshua increased in wisdom and stature, and in favor with God and men. These characteristics will qualify Yeshua to rule justly. In verses 6 to 9, Isaiah used the reconciliation of the animal that contradicts with each other to show us that shalom will prevail when Yeshua reigns during the millennial. For the earth shall be full of the knowledge of him, as the waters cover the sea. In apostolic portion, the Talmidim of Yeshua were arguing as to who would be the greatest among them. Then Yeshua gave them 2 things about true greatness. First, Their faith should be like the faith of a child, being dependent and knows how to trust. Second, they need to deny themselves. In verse 48, Yeshua said that whoever receives the child in his name receives him. Meaning, his Talmidim should be willing to obey his teachings and ready to suffer even to die for his sake. The connection of our parasha is about greatness. In Torah, after the sufferings of Joseph, he became great and ruled in the land of Egypt. In Haftarah, the great Messiah Yeshua will reign from the rod of Jesse the father of David. In Apostolic, Yeshua told his Talmidim that whoever is the least among them will be great. Back to my introduction, just like Joseph, we have trials and sufferings in life. But these things have a good purpose, and that is for us to learn how to trust God, wait for his perfect timing that soon, he will lift us up, and he will turn our sufferings into blessings. 1 Peter chapter 1 verses 6-7, in this you greatly rejoice, even though now for a little while, if necessary, you have been distressed by various trials, so that the proof of your faith, being more precious than gold which is perishable, even though tested by fire, may be found to result in praise and glory and honor at the revelation of Messiah Yeshua. Shabbat Shalom.